In today's video, Bennett, an extremely unlucky adventurer from Mustad. Bennett is a 4-star Spyro character, sword user, healer, and buffer for 90% of teams in Genshin. In this video you'll find tips, talents explanations, artifact sets, weapons and more, so keep watching if you want to have the best Bennett in Genshin. Join my Discord server if you want to make friends and play Genshin or other games. You're more than welcome to join. So without further ado, this is Bennett's character investment and let's jump right into his active talents. With the normal attack, he performs up to 5 rapid strikes, and the charge attack is the standard one for sword users. Of course, you won't find yourself using this talent, so let's go ahead with his kit. With the skill, it deals pyro damage and it has 2 forms. The top one, which will just deal a swift flame strike dealing pyro damage, and the old one with which Bennett charges a hit that also has 2 different levels. Level 1 strikes twice, dealing pyro damage and launches opponents, and level 2 strikes 3 times, opponents dealing pyro damage, but the third one will create an explosion that will launch Bennett and opponents. Even though Bennett doesn't take damage from this explosion, this makes you waste a lot of seconds, so the top one is the one you will use mostly and the one I recommend you. Last info is that Bennett won't be launched with the full charge mode if he has a shield on. With the burst, Bennett deals pyro damage, creating a field that will heal the character within the field based on Bennett's HP, grants attack to the character in the field based on Bennett's base attack, and apply pyro on the active character, which is not good since opponents can trigger an elemental reaction on you, but it's enough to dodge or have a shield. So he is really strong since he takes advantage from 2 stats, but he takes them from 2 different sources, allowing him to be really good at both roles, so buffer and healer. The only problem with his burst is that he applies it on the field, so if you use it before an enemy changes position, you will have wasted your burst, so be careful on the enemy's movements. The level priority is burst, skill, and last normal attack. Let's have a look at his passive talents. The first one decreases the cooldown of his skill by 20%, which is really useful for him since he can create more particles in this way. With the second one, if you are in the field created by the burst, you will have his cooldown decreased by 50% and also won't be launched by the explosion of the skill when it's at level 2 charge. So you can go with his skill, then burst, and skill again to have a lot of particles. Last one helps you with expeditions in Mondstadt. Before we uncover his artifacts options, the majority of the viewers are not subscribed, so subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of content and make sure to activate the notifications to not miss out any future guides of your favorite characters. So for artifacts, his 2-piece options are 2-piece HP, Tenacity of the Middle Leaf and Vorkasha's Glow, 2-piece Energy Recharge, Emblem of Third Fate, and 2-piece Pyro Damage, Crimson Witch of Flames. As a healer, he can have healing bonus, but I'd rather focus on HP and Energy Recharge. For 4-piece, I don't personally think he has great alternatives. Noblesse is a decent one, but I don't think it's worth farming it in 2025, so if you don't have it, give Bennett a combo of 2-piece since the 4-piece effect of Noblesse is not that relevant, and also burst damage, it's kinda useless for him. Of course, this is my personal view of the set, but you can let me know if you agree or not in the comments. Main stats are Energy Recharge on the Sand, HP on the Goblet, and HP or healing bonus on the Circlet. Substats are Energy Recharge, HP, and crits if you want him to deal damage, or for the Favonius. Talking of it, let's have a look at the weapons options. The option that follows the most his requirements in stats is Skyward Blade, which gives him a lot of attack and energy recharge, but the effect is not useful to support party members. Other than this, he can use other weapons, but his role changes of course. He can have Key of Kanizu to heal more, or Missplitter for base attack and others, but the only 5 stars options I feel like to recommend for a standard build is Skyward Blade. For 5 stars options, we have more choices fortunately. First one is Favonius Sword, which gives him a good amount of attack and a lot of energy recharge, giving crit rate to activate the effect. Floof Ferryman, which gives a little more attack as you can see, and less energy recharge, but it's still good. The effect increases skill crit rate and energy recharge by 16%, so this is actually a better option than the Favonius since it also doesn't force you to have crit rate. Sacrificial Sword, which is the same as Favonius, but the effect allows him to use the skill twice, which is pretty good for particles generation. And lastly, Subfoot Blade for the amount of attack. It gives less energy recharge, but the effect grants EM. Of course, the effect utility is based on which team you're playing Bennett. Let's have a look at the constellations before team comp so we can understand if there are any constellations needed, or we can play Bennett as C0 still having great performances. With the first one, the burst attack increase no longer has an HP restriction and gains an additional 20% of Bennett's base attack. This is really useful since you no longer need to have your HP above or at 70% to have the buff, since now you will instantly have the buff while being healed, so this is really good. With the second one, when Bennett's HP falls below 70%, his energy recharge is increased by 30%. Also really cool since he doesn't heal over 70% of character's HP, so he will always have this bonus. The third one increases the level of the skill by 3, not that useful. With the fourth one, using a normal attack as the second attack of the skill's charge level 1 will perform a follow-up attack. This additional attack does 135% of the second attack's damage. You probably won't find yourself using this since you'll prefer to use the top mode of the skill, but it's a good consolation for extra damage. The fifth one increases the level of the burst by 3, really good. Now you have bigger healing instances and stronger buff in attack. And with the last one, Sword, Claymore, and Pulliam wielding characters inside the burst field gain a 15% pyro damage bonus, and their weapons are infused with pyro. So this is really good for pyro DPS, of course. I know that this constellation is known to be hated since it infuses character hits, but characters that can infuse their normal attacks always have specified in their talents that infusion can't be overhidden, which means that Bennett's infusion doesn't prevail on your active character. Also, this works on Sword, Polyarm, and Claymore wielders, so not for everyone. This talent makes Bennett become a DPS, and it's really useful for a DPS like Arlecchino. Don't activate it if you like physical, but if you don't like it, you don't need to worry at all. Also because if you have Bennett in the team, you probably want pyro on enemies, so it's good that your active character can apply pyro on enemies with the normal attacks. Anyway, now for team comps, we have a lot of choices, so I'll give you the most classic one and also some of my favorites. First option is a vape team with Arlecchino, Xingqiu, Bennett, and Yellen. In this team, you have Bennett, of course, buffing in attack and healing, Xingqiu increasing your resistance interruption and applying Hydro, and Yellen applying Hydro and buffing with her burst. Second option is an overload team with Cloren, Chevreuse, Bennett, and Sarah. In this team, you have Bennett doing the same thing as before, Chevreuse healing and debuffing, and Sarah giving extra attack to Cloren and also crit damage. But now, since he has a lot of other choices, I will start with a really strong combo, which is Bennett and Furina. And from this one, I'll build teams. First of all, you know that Bennett's buffs in attack and heals, and Furina deals a lot of damage and buffs as well. The teams you could build with this combo are with Chaska and Citlali. Citlali helps a lot Chaska with Scroll and her passive talent. I've made a guide over, you can check it if you want. Navia and Kachina, or even better Shilonen. Shilonen heals and buffs a lot Navia, so she deals a lot of damage. Kinich and Mawika or Emily. Kinich takes advantage from burning a virgin, so he has really strong characters to work with. Raiden and Shaling or Mawika, which is similar to a national team. This one with Furina is crazy in terms of damage. These were the most recent characters except for Raiden, but he can work in a mall team with Riosley, Mawika, Bennett, and Shilonen. I mean, there are a lot of teams where he can be played and be really important. So as always, these were just examples. You can play him with every character in the team, even if they don't need attack sometimes. And that's all you needed to know about our unlucky adventurer Bennett. I hope this video came useful to you. Don't forget to leave a comment on what you think of this incredible character. I remind you to subscribe to the channel and also to my TikTok and Instagram accounts, to join my Discord server if you want to participate in the next videos, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!